Hare Krishna. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmevatam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So we were discussing yesterday how the instructions Prabhupada is giving for a ruler. And here Maitreya, he is explaining progress in the Atma Ghata. Means there should be progress in understanding Krishna. So that is real progress, not a progress. Artificial intelligence. The big companies, they are investing billions of rupees in making progress. And there is progress in space technology. There is progress in developing the army, military equipment. All these things, they are making so many progresses. But what here it is said is there should be real progress is progress in understanding about Krishna. And even in our life also, how much we are making progress, it should be counted in that way only. Oh, I made two houses, I have made this much money, and I have done this thing. That is progress, but that is not more serious. Who are serious about spiritual, the progress something else. And then sadhu sangha is more important than darshan of Lord, because even when Lord appears, also he is telling that, oh, you will get the association of Kumaras. And why do we need Kumaras? You already have Lord, but it will not help like that. We will develop love for Krishna only when we see somebody who has love for Krishna. Otherwise, even if we directly see Krishna, also we cannot develop love. Love can be developed only when we see somebody having that feeling. Oh, he feels so much for Krishna. It will melt our heart. Oh, why don't I feel for Krishna like that? So this is the only way we can make that advancement. And by hearing from them, uh, by seeing their emotions, we can also develop them. So that is the method that is recommended also. And even Lord also is telling, oh, you will get the association of devotees. And that is the best thing that can happen to anyone, to get the association of devotees. Even if Lord is giving darshan, we get everyday darshan in the form of the deities. And even demons directly got darshan of the Lord, not even deities. Like, but still it didn't work much. But if they have association, it will definitely work. Because we also went to temple many times and took darshan. But after meeting Prabhupada, association of devotees, now we are having a different way of looking at the deities. Other people, they take darshan. They don't know how to take darshan also. They just come, fold their hands, close their eyes, and go away. Devotees knows how to take darshan. They see what type of dress Lord is wearing and jewelry what he is wearing and what is the style of his pagadi and so many different things. They go in every detail and take darshan. They know how to take darshan. So like that. Mhm. And then we discussed that. So he is Prithvi is appreciating Kumaras that you have carried out the orders thoroughly because you are also as compassionate of the Lord. It is my duty, therefore, not to offer you something, but all I possess are but remnants of food taken by great saintly persons. What shall I give? This is also very important to understand that we should remember all the time this principle that uh, nothing belongs to me. So we should remember all the time. So Ishavashamidam sarvam itkinchit jagatyam jagat tena tektvena bunjita magrita kasya siddhanam. The last line, magrita kasya siddhanam, knowing whom does it belong to. So this is the point. We should know whom it belongs to. And here King Prithu Maharaj is very clear about it that, oh, it is because of Brahmanas I got, because my father Vena, he was killed by them, and later on they offered this to me. So in his case it was very literal, but in our case also, we should also Isha Upanishad principle, we should also all the time remember. Then what happens is, what are the advantages of this? First thing is, we will not become possessive. And second thing is, no attachment, no pride, and when we are told to give up, there is no lamentation. Now lamentation is because I feel I'm losing something. But if it's not mine, Lord gave and He's taking back, how can I make any comment? Lord is giving and is taking. So we live by this principle. So when Puthu Maharaj, he is always conscious about it. So we discuss this example. Like say somebody comes and gives this car for you for 1 month and says, okay, for 1 month you can have the car. You are always conscious that it is not my car, it is his car. But you are taking it and going around. But always conscious that it is somebody else, and you are very careful to keep it also. And similarly, when he comes back and tells give it back, we are giving back. Only thing is, see, every item you are having around, they all have expiry date. We should remember. So this is a very important thing. All the people, all the items, all the things and people have expiry date. So this makes us actually becomes little more serious and little more grave, because we know that things around us, everything is going to go. Our mobile, our house, our car, our whatever possessions we have, even the people around, everybody has expiry date. Now, if I am getting attached to it, it is whose mistake? My mistake, right? I am getting attached, and Lord is telling that they already have. Jatasya Dhruva Muttu. Lord is telling they already have expiry date. Every object which is born is going to die. If I am getting attached to it and then I am lamenting that why did I lose, then Lord says, I already told you, no, this is going to go. See, normally what happens is like the example which I gave, that after 1 month the person will come back and take the car. You know it is 1 month and you know the expiry date. But here, all the things and people which are around us, we don't know the date. That's why we feel we take it for granted. So we don't know the date. So we take for granted. But if I know this is my last day, this is my expiry. That's why Bhakti Tirth Maharaj, this famous book, Die Before You Die. So if I take this as my last day, then I don't take anything for granted. I will try to be very conscious. And that's how it makes a difference in life. The king continued, therefore, my lord, Brahmanas, my life, wife, children, house, furniture, and household paraphernalia, my kingdom, strength, land, and especially my treasure are all offered unto you. So they already are the Brahman. Since only a person who is completely educated according to the principles of Vedic knowledge deserve to be commander in chief, ruler of the state, and the first to chastise and the proprietor of the whole planet, Prithu Maharaj offered everything to the Kumara. So this is he is not just theoretically doing; he is really giving from the heart. That means he is not attached. So this means Prithu is he is not attached. He is just feeling himself as caretaker. If we are told, okay, now enough, somebody else should do it, he will be more than happy. So he will not even think twice. So this should be all the time. That means he's always feeling that when will I leave? Or like Parikshit Maharaj. He was never attached. He always wanted to, he always felt okay, I'm just caring for it, but whenever opportunity comes, I will go and hear Bhagavatam. King Yudhishthir also. These are people, the Rajarishis. They are more interested in spiritual life, but as a service to the society and the Lord, they're taking that responsibility. So first they have Vairagya, and then there is Yukta Vairagya. They're like that. Here it is Prabhupada writing, in this verse it is very clearly stated that a kingdom, state or empire must be governed under the instructions of saintly person Brahmanas like the Kumaras. When monarchy ruled throughout the world, the monarch was actually directed by a board of Brahmanas and saintly persons. The king, as the administrator of the state, executed his duties as a servant of the Brahmanas. It is not that the kings or Brahmanas were dictators, nor did they consider themselves proprietors of the state. See, they are very clear about it. So, it is not kings or Brahmanas were dictators, nor they consider themselves the proprietors of the state. The kings were also well versed in Vedic literature and thus were familiar with the injunctions of Ishopanishad, Isha Vasham Idam Sarvam. And Prabhupada said the head of the state should not be appointed if he is bereft of all Vedic knowledge. So unfortunately, there are many so-called philosophers in the present age who give instructions without citing authority. So we discussed that. Presently, the philosophy, see, anything that is happening is they have certain philosophy behind it. And the philosophy is what? Based on this modern philosophers, Karl Marx and Sigmund Freud and whatever, democracy or whatever philosophies they are having. It is also, the countries run based on certain philosophy. Everybody feels maybe this is the way. Democracy is a philosophy, right? Similarly, communism or similarly, capitalism. So that is their way of looking at this world, and they feel that is the way to make the humanity happy. And propose the further says that the Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras eat their food by virtue of Brahmanas' mercy. It is Brahmanas who enjoy their own property, clothe themselves with their own property, and give charity with their own property. And Prabhupada writing, the Supreme Personality of God is worshipped with the words Namo Brahmanya Devaya, which indicates that the Supreme Lord accepts the Brahmanas. Everyone should follow the instructions of the Brahmanas, but their only business is to spread Shabda Brahma or Vedic knowledge. So this is what a Brahmana is supposed to do. He has to give Vedic knowledge. Whenever there is a scarcity of Brahmanas to spread Vedic knowledge, chaos throughout human society results. Since Brahmanas and Vaishnavas are direct servants of Supreme Lord, they do not depend on others. This is a very important thing. How do we know who is a Brahman and Vaishnava? They don't depend on others. They are very detached. Now presently, Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, the so-called Vaishnavas, they are depending on the donors who are giving in charity. No, don't depend on them. Just depend on Lord. Do service for them. Whoever is coming to us, we have to render service to them. And then Lord will do whatever is needed for us. Whatever we have to get, that much only we will get. So not a problem. In actuality, everything in the world belongs to the Brahmanas, and out of their humility, the Brahmanas accept charity from Kshatriyas or kings, and the Vaishyas are merchants. Everything belongs to the Brahmanas, but Kshatriya government and mercantile people keep everything in custody like bankers. And whenever the Brahmanas need money, the Kshatriyas and Vaishyas should supply it. It is like saving account with money, which the depositor can withdraw at his will. So all the accounts are Brahmanas only. The Brahmanas being engage in the service of the Lord have very little time to handle the finance of the world, and therefore the richest are kept by Kshatriyas or the kings who are to produce money upon the Brahmanas' demand. Actually, the Brahmanas or Vaishnavas do not live at their cost, at others' cost. They live by spending their own money. Although it appears that they are collecting the money from others, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas have no right to give charity, for whatever they possess belongs to the Brahmana. Now, here Brahmana is, see, very important. It's not caste Brahmanas or some Brahmanas by professional. These are Brahmanas who are really depending on the Supreme Lord. It is applicable to them only, like Prabhupada and now the Gurus and the other institutions also. They are very, very genuine Vaishnavas and Brahmanas who are just depending on the Lord. They are not bothered about what is happening, how much money, this, that. Therefore, charity should be given by the Kshatriyas and Vaishyas under the instructions of the Brahmanas. Unfortunately, at the present moment, there is a scarcity of Brahmanas, and since the so called Kshatriyas and Vaishyas do not carry out the orders of the Brahmanas, the world is in a chaotic condition. Second line of this verse indicates that the Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras eat only by virtue of Brahmanas' mercy. In other words, they should not eat anything which is forbidden by Brahmanas. The Brahmanas and Vaishnavas know what to eat, and by their personal examples, they do not eat anything which is not offered first to Supreme Lord. They eat only prasadam or remnants of food. Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras should eat only Krishna prasad. They cannot open slaughterhouses, eat meat, fish, eggs, drink liquor, or earn money for this purpose without authorization. So very nicely it is explained. But unfortunately, Brahmanas are eating now. Because society is not guided by Brahmanical instruction, the whole population is only absorbed in simple activities. Consequently, everyone is uh, deservedly being punished by the laws of nature. This is the situation of Kali Yuga. ऐर्दीर्षाैर्भगवतो गतिरात्मवादा एकान्ततो निगम्बि अतिपादितानः तुष्यन्ति पुरुणास्वकृते नित्यं को नाम तत्प्रतिकरोति विनोदपात्रम्. So this is a very nice verse. ऐरीदृशी भगवतो गतिरात्मवादा एकान्ततो निगम्भि अतिपादितानः तुष्यन्ति अद्रभः करुणैस्वकृते नित्यं को नाम तत्प्रतिकरोति विनोदपात्रम्. Prithu Maharaj continued, how can such persons who have rendered unlimited service by explaining the path of self-realization in relation to the Supreme Lord, and whose explanations are given for our enlightenment with complete conviction and Vedic evidence, be repaid except by folded palms containing water for their satisfaction. Such great personalities can be satisfied only by their own activities, which are distributed amongst human society out of their unlimited mercy. So, this is actually that they don't need anything from, and we cannot repay also. Just fold hands of obeisances, because what they are giving is transcendental knowledge, which cannot be achieved by our research in the laboratories and all these big university professors and all. They cannot give this. Simply people, what they are giving is something which will help us to get out of this samsara chakra. So that's why this is very difficult for them to repay. So whose explanations are given for our enlightenment with complete conviction and Vedic evidence. So this is what they are giving us. So it's unlimited mercy. We just have to fold our palms containing water for their satisfaction. That's all. So Prabhupada writing, great personalities of the material world are very eager to render welfare service to human society, but actually no one can render better service than one who distributes the knowledge of spiritual relation in relation to the Supreme Lord. This is the best welfare activity is to uh, only saintly persons highest welfare is by Vaishnava. And Prabhupada writing, forgetting their real identity, they hover in the material existence, transmigrating from one body to another in search of a peaceful life. Since these living entities have very little knowledge of self-realization, they are not getting any relief, although they are very anxious to attain peace of mind, some substantial happiness. Saintly persons like the Kumaras, Narada, Prahlada, Janaka, Sukadeva, and Kapila, as well as the followers of such authorities of Vaishnava Acharyas and their servants, can render a valuable service to humanity by disseminating knowledge of relationship between Supreme Lord and the living entity. So what they are giving is this only. When Prithu is telling, oh, I cannot, and here, the patram is joker. A joker's activity simply arose laughter, and a person who tries to repay the spiritual master or teacher. So this is also very important. The word Vinodapatram can be divided into two words, Vina Ud Patram, or can be understood as one word, Vinodapatram, which means joker. A joker's activity simply arouse laughter, and a person who tries to repay the spiritual master or teacher of the transcendental message of Krishna becomes a laughing stock, just like a joker, because it is not possible to repay such debt. The best friend and benefactor of all people is one who awakens humanity to its original Krishna consciousness. So this is Maitreya Vacha Tadatma Yoga Patya Adirajena Ju Pujita Sheelam Tadiyam Samsanta Ke Bhavan Mishatam Nrinam. The great sage Maitreya continues. Saying thus, worshipped by Maharaj Prithu, the four Kumaras, who were masters of devotional service, became very pleased. Indeed, they appeared in the sky and praised the character of the king, and everyone observed them. So, this is actually, it is said that demigods never touch the surface of the earth. They walk and travel in space only, like the great sage. So, for them, this dust and all, this is here, we are used to it. We feel it's very good, but this place is not very good. Say some rats are living in a drainage. For them, it is a very good place. For us, we cannot even just we cannot just even put our feet also on drainage. We feel such a dirty thing. How can I touch it? And now you imagine why demigods don't want to touch there. There are also residents of Siddhaloka who can travel in space without mission. Since they can go from one planet to another, they are called Siddhas. That is to say that they have acquired all mystic and yogic power. Such great saintly persons who have attained complete perfection on mystic yoga are not visible in this age on earth because humanity is not worth of their presence. That is the main reason we are not able to see. The Kumaras, however, praise the characteristics of Maharaj Prithu and his great devotional attitude and humility. The Kumaras were greatly satisfied by King Prithu's method of worship. It was by the grace of Maharaj Prithu that the common citizens in his domain could see the Kumaras flying in outer space. So Uth Maharaj was giving them that access because of his purity. वन्यस्य तु धुरयो महतां संसात्याध्यात्मशिक्षया आपत्यकामम् इवात्मानं मेन आत्मन्यवस्थितः. Amongst great personalities, Maharaj Prithu was the chief by virtue of his fixed position in relation to spiritual enlightenment. He remained satisfied as one who has achieved all success in spiritual understanding. So he is the chief by virtue of his fixed position in relation to the spiritual enlightenment. Prabhupada writing, remaining fixed in devotional service gives one the utmost in self-satisfaction. Actually, self-satisfaction can be achieved only by pure devotees who have no desires other than to serve the Supreme Lord. Since the Supreme Lord has nothing to desire, he is fully satisfied with himself. Similarly, a devotee who has no desire other than the service of Supreme Lord is also as self-satisfied as Supreme Lord. Everyone is anchoring after peace of mind and self-satisfaction, but there can be only that this can be achieved by becoming a pure devotee. So our desires are not satisfied. That is a cause of pain for us. We are striving to make things better in this world. Change, we want to change many things around us. We want to change people around us. We are trying to make a better arrangement, but only best arrangement is when we are Krishna conscious. That is the best thing that can happen. And here also it is similarly. Prithu's statements in previous verse regarding his vast knowledge and perfect devotional service are justified here, for he is considered best among all Mahatmas. Mahatmanam Samam Partha Daivim Prakriti Mashrita. Karmani cha yata kalam yata desham yata balam yatocittam yata vittam akarod brahma satkritam. Being self-satisfied, Maharaj Prithu executed his duties as perfectly as possible according to the time and his situation, strength, and financial position. His only aim in all his activity was to satisfy the absolute truth. In this way, he duly acted. So now here activities of Prithu are explained in terms of after he is enlightened by Kumara. After effect. After meeting. So what Prithu did after meeting? So he is a very responsible monarch. So first thing he is telling that he was very good in executing his duties. Yata desham, yata bhalam, yata uchitam, yata vittam. So karmani yata kalam, befitting the time and circumstances. So karmani is the main activity. So Maharaj Prithu was a responsible monarch and he had to execute the duty of Kshatriya king and a devotee at the same time, being perfect in Lord's uh, service. He could execute his prescribed duties with complete perfection as befitting the time and circumstances and his financial strength and personal ability. So Prithu Maharaj's activities are not ordinary, but they are in relation to the Supreme Lord. So this is the point. How he is properly doing every activity, even though he is detached. because he's responsible for it. So we should also feel that it's not that getting just detached. We should also perform the activity. That's why our process is synthesis. It's not just thesis and antithesis. So here Prithu Maharaj is performing properly, and he was conscious of the Lord also, and he is doing it properly. Whereas Prithu's activities were therefore not ordinary, but were all spiritual and transcendental. Like for his aim was to satisfy the Lord. It is therefore said by a Vaishnava poet, Vaishnavera Kriya Mudra Vijnana Vijaya. No one can understand the activities of pure devotee. Pure devotees' activities may appear like ordinary activities, but behind them there is profound significance, that is satisfaction of the Lord. Palam Brahmani Sanyasya Nirvishangah Samahitah Karmadhyaksham cha Manavan Atmanam Prakrite Param. Maharaj Prithu completely dedicated himself to be an actual servant of Supreme Lord. Maharaj Prithu, transcendental to material nature. Consequently, all the fruits of his activities were uh, decided, dedicated to the Lord, and he always thought of himself as a servant who is the proprietor of everything. So this is what. So he always felt that this all belongs to the master and I had to give it back. So without getting attached, without being proud, and this actually helps for us also. Life and the life and dedication of Maharaj Prithu in the transcendental loving service of Lord serves a good example of Karma Yoga. Super, right? Kamyayam karmanam nyasam sanyas avayo viduhu sarva karma phalatyagam prabhustyagam vichakshana. So to give up the results of all activities called renunciation, tyaga, that state is called the renounced order of life. So this is the it is sannyas. But although he was living a household life, Prithu Maharaj was actually in the renounced life. You see, so he is teaching that how a person should be practicing, and it will be very much applicable for us also now. Shravanam. So here, but it is especially easy for householders who can install the deity of Lord in the house. The deities are very important for grahasthas. Why? Because Prabhupada writes that in the house and worshipping according to Bhakti. This method can includes 9 items: hearing, chanting, remembering, serving, worshipping the deity, praying, carrying out orders, serving Krishna as friend, Shravanam, Kirtana, Vishnu. These methods of Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga are being broadcasted all over the world by ISKCON. In one's home or in a temple, the deity is considered the proprietor of everything, and everyone is considered the deity's eternal servant. So we are all servants of the deity in the home. The Lord is transcendental, for he is not part of his material creation. The word Prakriti, Para are used in this verse because everything within this material world is created by the external and material energy of the Lord. Maya Dikshena Prakriti Suyate Characharam. It's under the Lord's superintendence, everything is happening. Indeed, in all cases, the result is not dependent on one's own personal dexterity, but is completely dependent on the will of Lord. This is the real significance of Palam Brahmani Sanyasya. Okay, thank you very much. We'll end here. ग्रंथ श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।